Today I'm going to be making a healthy dessert for my family. It's a crock pot dessert. It's called Blushing Apple Tapioca. And I had some apples I needed to use up. They were starting to get kind of wrinkly and kind of bruised, and they were apples that my family just didn't want to eat, just to pick up and eat. And so I collected them in the refrigerator, hung on to them till I had enough to do this recipe, and then I added a couple of apples that I had just bought the other day because you need 10 apples. Now the recipe calls for Tart Apples. These are actually called Pink Lady, and they're a little bit tart, but they're not like a Granny Smith. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put as much sugar in as the recipe calls for because these are not Granny Smith apples. They're not really tart. And so the first thing you have to do is peel and slice the apples. Now this apple peeler corer has been one of the best investments that I have ever made. This is actually from Pampered Chef, but you can get them, I don't know, you can probably get them just about anywhere. And if you have to do a lot of apples, this thing is a lifesaver. And so I'll show you how it works. I'll do a couple of apples, and then I'll shut off the video, and we'll be back when all the apples are done, and I'll show you the next step. This is a super simple recipe. So the first thing you do is you just stick the apple on here. And you give it a twist, and it peels it and cores it and slices it just as slick as anything. So then all I need to do is take a paring knife, cut these in half, which I forgot my knife. Hold right on, I'll go get it. So here it is, nice and peeled, sliced, and then all I have to do is take my knife and cut them in half, and you have perfect slices for pie or for whatever apple dish you want to do. And since this is a crock pot meal, I'm just going to throw, or dessert, I'm just going to throw the apples right into my crock pot. Then you just pull it out and the core pops right off. I'll show you that one more time, and then I'll get the rest of these apples done. You just push the apple on, core or stem end first. Now if your apples are super big or really irregularly shaped, this core doesn't do as good of a job. But on these apples, it's doing a perfect job. It leaves just a little bit of skin on both ends, and you can either just peel that off, pluck it off and throw it away, or you can put it in the recipe. A little bit of skin doesn't bother me. So then you just cut this in half and then throw it in the pot. Alright, I'm going to finish coring these apples up, and when I have the crock pot full, I'll be back. Alright, so here are all the apples. That's 10 apples. It gave me about half a crock pot full. And this recipe is super, super simple. So all you do to this now is you add, now the recipe calls for half a cup of sugar, but like I said, these apples aren't as tart as Granny Smith, so I'm only going to add 1/4 of a cup of sugar. So you just sprinkle on 1/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of Minute Tapioca, a 1/4 of a cup of these Red Hots. This is what gives it the blushing. It turns the apples a really pretty pink color. This would be a really nice dessert for Valentine's Day for your family. Now, this is the next ingredient is something that I just add It's not in the recipe, but I add it because I just love it. And it's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I just really want to boost up that cinnamon flavor. And then the last thing you add is a 1/2 cup of water. Then you just give this a stir to coat the apples with all this lovely stuff. Oh, it smells so good. I love cinnamon. It's my favorite spice. It's my favorite spice to eat, and it's my favorite spice to smell. I just love it. Okay, so now the recipe says to cook it on high for 3 to 4 hours, but I got this started way early, so I'm going to stick my crock pot on low and let it cook till dinner time. Where's my lid? There it is. Okay, folks, so when this is ready, when this is all done and yummy and delicious, I will bring you back and I will show you what it looks like. You can serve it warm or cold, and you can serve it with ice cream or Cool Whip. So we'll be back. So here is the blushing apple tapioca. This lighting is not great right now, but it's been cooking on low all day, and I've had it on keep warm for the last couple of hours because it got done. So let me dish myself up a serving, and I'll show you what it looks like dished up. Here we have it all dished up with, I have a dollop of this on there. I like to use this Cool Whip frozen because it's very reminiscent of ice cream for me when I do that. So that's what I have on mine. So I would highly recommend that you give this recipe a try. It's easy and it is delicious. And it's a light dessert that you can serve any time of the year. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, friends.